Now comes the part where you get complete clarity and a complete roadmap that you can use to become a front-end developer, a full-stack developer, and become job ready, interview ready, and portfolio ready so you are able to work in the workplace. So here is the chart that I've created for you. So it is a chart that has skills and it has the timeline. So you already know by now that a front-end developer is somebody who creates modern user interfaces for the web. So what are the tools, what are the skills needed by a front-end developer? A front-end developer needs first and foremost to know how HTML and CSS work. Now, HTML and CSS are not programming languages. They are coding languages, but they are not programming languages. The difference is that a programming language would have some logical aspect of it. So let's say determining the logical flow, telling the computer if this happens, do that. If a different situation happens, do something else. So that's the logical instructional piece that a computer needs. And HTML and CSS have nothing to do with that. They have nothing to do with the logical aspect. HTML is a language that is used to make the skeleton of the websites. And CSS is instruction style of writing code, which is not logic, but it's just a sheet of instructions that add color and advanced layouts to a web page. So it's really the look and feel is determined by HTML and CSS. So if you're going to make simple websites, you need to know HTML and CSS, and I Love Coding has a very comprehensive free course, very detailed, with cheat sheets and homeworks of how to learn HTML and CSS and make professional looking websites. Now, once you know that, that's the important piece. You cannot skip that piece. It's important, right? That HTML and CSS course is better than many college level and paid courses and bootcamp courses. There are people charging $1,000 for certain training, and this course will give you that training, and it's free. You can check it out. You can check it out and you'll find it for yourself. So once you have that particular training, which is going to be very fast, it's not a complicated subject, but it has certain things that you need to learn. So after you know that, then you're going to get into the programming phase. And JavaScript, as we have determined throughout your lessons that I've given you, that JavaScript is the language for the web and now a language used in other areas as well. So what you need to do is learn JavaScript fundamentals so you know how programming works. You are able to think like a developer. You are able to solve problems, break down problems into logical pieces so you can build features for the web in our case. So you learn JavaScript and then you learn how JavaScript is used in the browser. All right. So now you're using the layouts with HTML and CSS, you're using the functional aspect of JavaScript and working with the browser to actually create modern user interfaces. So when you put these three pieces together, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, this combination will make you a front-end developer because you're able to create these modern user interfaces. So once you know these three things, you are a job-ready front-end developer. Of course, you will have to create your portfolio items and put in your resume, and you have to understand those concept and the nitty-gritty details of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in a deep way so you can answer those interview questions. And I Love Coding teaches you all of this. So it teaches you the details of, let's say, what a closure is. Very complicated looking word, but I make it simple so you can actually understand it and communicate it to your interview when those questions arises. So all of these concepts are covered in the JavaScript course and how the browser works and how DOM works. Then, since the world is becoming more modern and there are certain tools created in the world for enhancing the developer's ability to quickly create these applications, there are many libraries created. So a library is a piece of software which kind of, think of it like a power tool. So like a hammer is a tool, but let's say a drill machine is a power tool. So it has certain features which can enhance the speed of a developer to do certain things. So a library is just a piece of software to speed up a developer's job. So there's a very popular library out there called React.js, which is actually built on top of JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, which actually it's easy for developers to make modern applications. So I actually teach you in I Love Coding these modern technologies as well. So you don't just know the fundamentals, which are extremely important. You cannot skip the fundamentals. You learn the fundamentals and then you learn the modern technologies which are relevant today. So you are a more in-demand person in the marketplace, so you can get your job quickly because these technologies are in demand today. So you're going to learn React.js and the nitty-gritty details. And along the way, over here it says core training and practice projects. So I give you the core details of the fundamentals, and also I quickly translate those theories into practical projects. So you see, okay, this is the complicated sounding word, but it's not that complicated because I explain it to you in a simple manner. And then you apply that theory. So you know, oh, it's called, let's say, prototype, but it's just a simple property. That's what it is. Oh, what a method is? A method is just a function. What is a function? Function is just an instruction. Of course, I'm going to very quickly, but I explain these things in a simple manner throughout the course. So you know the theoretical part and you know the practical part of it as well. And that's the core. You cannot just learn theory. You cannot just, when you were born, your parents just did not give you an instructional manual. They actually showed you how things were done. And that's how you learn, through practice, through actually application. So when you know these four areas, HTML, CSS, JavaScript fundamentals, working with browser, and working with a library like React.js, which is very popular, you are a job-ready front-end developer. Of course, at the same time, you will have to build your portfolio, which I'm going to help you with. You're going to be practicing for your interviews, and you're going to work on your resume. So you are actually able to, you just don't have your skills. You're able to translate that skills and communicate your skills to an employer. So you know the skills, but you have to show that you have the skills. So you do that through a resume, portfolio, and applying for jobs and answering those questions in the interview. The next part, after you are a front-end developer, then you can actually build on top of that knowledge and become a full-stack developer. And what does a full-stack developer have? A full-stack developer knows what front-end does. He's a front-end developer, plus knows how a back-end application works. So a back-end application can be built with Node.js. So remember I told you that JavaScript is now able to be used to make backend applications. So there's an environment of JavaScript called Node.js. So you're simply using the JavaScript programming language in the Node.js environment, and you're now able to make backend applications as well. So I have courses for Node.js and Express.js, which is again a framework / library of JavaScript that enables you to create these backend applications as well. So you can control the data layer. And then where's all the data stored? It's stored in a database. So I show you, there's a course on JavaScript, how to work with MongoDB, which is the name of a database. So how do you use a MongoDB to store your data in an organized manner so you know how to make a full application, the user interface layer, the backend data layer, and also the database layer. So these are the three pieces which actually make a fully functional application. Think about Google. There's a user interface, there's a backend layer, and there's a data layer where all the information is actually stored. Any application, Quora.com, Amazon.com, any application you think about, there are always these three layers. So once you know all these three layers, you are a full stack developer. And that's what you learn. I've broken it down for you. You learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript fundamentals, working with DOM, a modern library so you're job ready, React.js, which are you're going to be job ready, but it's going to be in demand. So it's going to be easy for you to get a job. Then you learn Node.js, you learn Express.js for the data layer, you learn MongoDB for the database. Then you're a full stack developer. Then you may say, hey, I want to make desktop applications and mobile applications as well. So remember I told you there are certain power tools that developers have created on top of JavaScript. So there's actually a library called React Native, which when used, which is a power tool on top of JavaScript, which when used will enable you to make mobile applications for Android and iOS as well. So I have a course on React Native where we actually create a cryptocurrency mobile app, which will enable you to learn how to use JavaScript and React Native to actually launch mobile applications. There's actually another framework out there called Electron, which is a JavaScript framework. So actually, when you use JavaScript in combination with Electron, you are able to make desktop applications. So the Microsoft editor application, the Atom editor application, Slack desktop application, they're all built with Electron. So when I was talking about React Native, the Facebook mobile app, the Instagram mobile app, and I'm not sure about others, but these mobile apps are actually built with React Native. So these are the tools which are used in the real world, and they're all based on JavaScript. These developers make these frameworks which enable you to actually build these applications. And there's a course on each of this and more. Now, these are the big picture. This is the big picture roadmap, and this is what you're going to do with core training, with practice projects. You build your portfolio along the way. You build your resume along the way. You practice for your interviews along the way, so you become competent so that you are job ready. Now, these are the big pictures, but there are many small topics along the way, like what is an API? How does a domain work? How do you upload your website live? How do you work with authentication? How do you work with collaborating your code with Git and GitHub? So all these mini topics are taught along the way. So you don't just know the big picture, but you also know these smaller topics, which a developer needs to know so you are competent and you're able to perform at your job. So that is the roadmap you need to follow. Of course, you don't have to go all the way till the top. You can just, for your first start, you're going to become a front-end developer because that's the baseline. So once you're ready and job ready, you apply for jobs, you become a front-end developer, an employed front-end developer, but then you can keep on enhancing your skills. And the learning never ends. Even after 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, you're going to be still learning and deepening your knowledge. But the foundation is there in I Love Coding training. So you are becoming job ready and you're becoming productive. So when you have ideas to launch certain ideas in the world, web application, mobile applications, you can actually launch them because you have the skills. Of course, it takes time, but this is your roadmap. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you have that clarity. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll talk to you in the next video.